What I'm realizing is I should not be wearing green shirts when I'm on camera. Look at that. That Rick and Morty shirt is not working out. You can see right through me. You know, I now understand when people say, like, man, you're being too transparent. Really? It's a little bit of transparency there. So, full transparency, guys. Okay, I'll stop on that. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow admits he questioned football mortality amid injuries. No, this is from yesterday, okay? The NFL posted this, and let's just see how they frame this. Because I seen the interview, and yeah, here's what the whole quote is. Whenever the injuries start to stack up, your football mortality kind of comes into the back of your mind, Burrow said, following mandatory minicamp process. So that's definitely something I've thought about and something I had to fight through. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's kind of everyone thinks that if you think about it, because, like, especially the injuries he went through, right? We're not talking about a broken finger or a sprained ankle or this, that, of a third, a minor injury. The injuries he went through was an ACL tear. He also went through a ligament tear in his wrist where he could not use his hands or his right hand, which is a huge thing. And I'm sure you do. You start to think about the future and is it worth it in the long term? Because as I've said many times on this channel, there's a point where Joe's going to retire. And I know it sucks to say it out loud because, you know, you never want him to retire. But in 15, 20 years from now, Joe will retire. And Joe's going to have another 60 years of life to live with his family, with his friends, you know, have maybe another career after football. And he's going to do a lot of great things. But you start to think about it, and this is why Andrew Luck retired, and this is why other players have retired early, is you're like, is it worth it if I can never walk again? What if I can't walk after football? What if I can't pick up a drink? Pick up something? Pick up my grandchild? Pick up my son? You know, because of this injury. Because of these injuries piling up, right? So you start to kind of weigh. In life, you always have risk and reward. What are you risking and what are you getting back, right? Now, I don't think in Joe's case, this is something that he has to worry about right now. But I will agree that this has to come to your mind, right? And let's say you're 10, 15 years from now. Oh, not 10, 15. I keep saying 10. 10 years from now when Joe's 37 years old, right? There's a situation where if he gets injured, he's going to really start to think about this. And that's why these older quarterbacks, you know, they try to come back and they get injured and they're like, we're done. Because you start to think, you know, your body's not healing like it used to. And he's not old at all. He's 27 years old. But there is a point of view where you start to think about it. And with him having an injury that no one has ever had at the quarterback position, I would assume it kind of keeps going even there. He said he'll be ready to go by this season. He had it tough to say what percentage he's currently at, physically speaking. And what we have listened to recently on this channel was a medical surgeon who actually works on NFL players. And the way that he explained this injury was, it's not the throwing that's the problem. He's going to be able to throw it as much as he wants to. There's not going to be any setbacks when he's throwing the football. There might be some inflammation. Okay. Not information, right? It's like information, but then you add in the FLA, inflammation. Might be some inflammation in his wrist. So pretty much right here, right? There might be some burning sensations. You know, it might also have some, you know, it might tighten up for him so he can't throw it as well. And that's all stuff that, you know, you can kind of get a shot for. You know, some rehab drugs, stuff going on, you know, ice it up a little bit and you'll be fine. The problem that the surgeon said was once he takes the first hit, once 300 pounds lands on the wrist, That's the problem. And we're not going to know that until the Patriots game. We're not going to. So he can look, and the surgeon even said, he'll probably look perfect. He'll probably look amazing. He could be as close to 100% as possible. But the second that 300-pound man falls on that wrist right here, that's when we'll find out how good it looks. And that's the problem. Anyway, though, he said that's something we'll be more proactive about this year. We don't have to be ready to go in the middle of June. We have to be ready to go early September through February. That's how we're attacking this offseason and this rehab plan and these practice and training camp. And we're attacking it like I want to be out there playing in February. So it's a long process. This is why, again, it's kind of funny how he's saying this now. This is why I was so animated about being against the idea of him going out there and, like he's saying this offseason, I'll be ready to throw the ball by, like, May. I'll be ready to throw the ball by early June. And he was actually throwing the ball in May. And I was like, Joe, stop. Like, I get it. You want to go out there and prove that you're back. You're not proving anything. Don't push your body. Don't push yourself through this. Take your time, relax, develop, rehab from this injury. So I was actually like really upset about that because I'm like, dude, just don't push this. Don't try to force this to happen right away. Take some time and get ready and get back to football shape. So it's kind of funny here because he's now playing the opposite card of saying, we're going to kind of take a setback here and, realize that this is not when we have to be 100%. And I know what he's saying in context is that for, like, he's not, like, he doesn't see him going out there and throwing the ball as him pushing himself. Taking contact, playing through plays, potentially getting hit, and again, in practice, you can still get hit in practice. You usually don't, but there's always a chance. I mean, we saw last offseason where Cam Taylor-Britt, Tyler Boyd, and a couple other players in practice went to go for an interception, and they collided. So, there was a potential. Quarterbacks usually not, because usually you're told as defensive ends, no, you're not hitting the quarterback in practice. But, you never know. Someone trips, someone falls, someone pushes someone, whatever, right? But the point is, they're not going that hard right now, which makes sense. Throwing the ball, in his point of view, would probably not be considered going that hard. I just say take it easy, man. Take it easy. We have a Super Bowl season, okay? We have a Super Bowl run to make, okay? We got 17 games, and then an additional, hopefully, if everything works out correctly, 3. If not, 4, depending on wild card. But yeah, no, I am so ready for this upcoming season. Continuing here, he says, you always forget how hard it is coming back from injury. That's every time it happens. There's always peaks where you're like, I'm feeling great. And a couple months later, you have a couple of days where you're like, man, I'm not feeling that great. In the past, I pushed through that and caused problems for myself. And this year, I'm not doing that. Thank you, Joe. That's what we've been saying. Don't rush yourself, my guy. You're not competing for anything by being back as fast as possible. It's not like Guinness is going to come out of the woodwork and go, Joe Burrow, you got the Guinness World Record for the first quarterback to ever have an injury like this and come back the fastest. Technically speaking, you will be the fastest coming back from this injury because no other quarterback has done it. Whenever you fight through adversity and come back on the other side, it definitely gives you a feeling of invincibility at times, but obviously that's not the case, so it's always a balancing act. What's ironic is, if he had this mentality last year and didn't force himself to play through the calf strain the first 4 weeks of the season, and we went with Jake Browning instead, last season might be different. We might not be with this injury right now. I mean, again, all things 2020 here, right? All things, but we had this mentality last season, there might have been a little bit of a different situation with the calf strain. But I digress. I'll leave it off on this. That's what this offseason has been about for me. It's not pushing through some things I've pushed through in the past. I've always prided myself on my mental toughness to be able to push through pain and push through those injuries. So that kind of been my growth this offseason in taking a step back, and understanding my value to the organization and the team. And yeah, this is what Zach Taylor literally said. We have to protect Joe from Joe. He's like, yeah, we have to give him a couple days off to rest, because if not, this guy won't do it. This guy won't take days off. This guy wants to be out there every single day for his team and playing at a very high level for his team. And he won't ever take a step back. So, yeah. I mean, overall wise, man, I'm excited. Very excited for this season. I love this approach, Joe. I think this is an A++ approach right now. Let's keep this mentality going into the season. Guys, let's do it. Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody!